My name is Abram. God changed my name to Abraham. My name means exalted father. My hometown was known for worshiping other gods. I didn't understand God. I heard God's voice and obeyed him, moving hundreds of miles to Canaan, which later would become the promised land of Israel. I worshipped God and became known as the father of God's people, the Hebrew. I never got to see the promised land. I even had to buy a plot of land to bury my wife and I. Aaron's dad lived to be 205 and I lived to be only 175. God told me that Sarah and I would have a son. We were already too old and Sarah was barren and it was impossible for her to have a child. So 10 years later, instead of trusting God, Sarah told me to take Hagar, her bondwoman or servant, to have a child. I listened to my wife and had Ishmael. Then 15 years later, Isaac was born from Sarah. After the birth of Isaac, God's chosen son, Sarah wanted Hagar and Ishmael removed and gone from her sight. 25 years had passed since the promise from God about a chosen son. God told me that he would make a great nation through me. When Isaac was born, the reason the land of Canaan was called the Promised Land is because God promised to give it to me and my descendants. When I went to other lands, I had to lie and say Sarah was my sister. If they knew she was my wife, they would have killed me and took her for their own. Though Sarah was up in age, she was still a beautiful woman. As a test, God told me to take my son up and sacrifice him by tying him to a tree. He told me to put wood all around him and then to light the wood on fire. That would burn the sacrifice, Isaac, with fire. I was willing to burn him to death because I trusted God. When God saw I was willing, he told me to untie the lad. I looked and there was a ram stuck in some bush. God told me to use the ram for my sacrifice. Many things were promised by God. He led me through many journeys for me to share with you on this podcast. Brought you by Freedom Sharing Jesus, hosted on RogerRoach.com/Bad Boys of Babylon.